Salute Knicks Nation. The streets are buzzing as the Knicks handle the Portland Trail Blazers on the West Coast. This one was a big time win. It was a gritty win as the New York Knicks had to stave off a run, but Jalen Brunson came to play like he was born to play basketball. 45 points, man, heating up at the right time of the season. OG Anunoby second game back. Possible injury elbow scare, but things look to be all clear with OG. And the New York Knicks cruise to a 105-93 victory, fam. Good hit out to start the road trip on the West Coast, right? This one wasn't the most pretty win, but the New York Knicks got it done late. They executed, and man, Jalen Brunson, what a player, fam. What a player. 45 points, and we're going to talk about it, give out the grade, and a shout out the chat, right? The streets are buzzing. Smash that like button. The New York Knicks go 39-27 on this season, and things are heating up, fam. Welcome in. Great to be with you. Glad you could join me on this late night post game. We're going to get used to it for a few games, right? As the New York Knicks become road warriors like they were last season, right? This West Coast trip could really set the New York Knicks up. We had some results go our way. Philly lost tonight as well to the Milwaukee Bucks, so we create further separation, fam, between us and Philadelphia, right? But we had 4 players with multiple steals tonight. I thought defense was gritty tonight. It needed to be, because the Blazers were shorthanded, but credit to them, they battled. We still held them to 93 points as well. So given our defense a lot of credit, we needed to be locked in. This was a game of runs, but the New York Knicks were the better team. Obviously, we made bigger runs and we made more runs as well. 3-point shooting wasn't the most efficient tonight, as we'll dive into the numbers, fam, and talk more about OG second game back. Hopefully, he just suffered a little bit of a stinger or something like that. He was able to finish. Some people feel like he shouldn't have played after going to the bench to get a little bit of treatment. He didn't miss any minutes, but he did seem to sort of stretch his elbow and feel some discomfort. Maybe that's just normal as he works his way back, but no indication yet. We'll find out more any minute as Tibbs talks. But we've got this graphic up on screen now, courtesy of MSG Networks, right? The best in the biz. This graphic indicates Brunson now has 25 30-point games, right? And he's closing in on Nick Legend, Richie Guerin, the one, the only. You see Dick Barnett, Steph Marbury as well. But on the season, he has 25 now, 30 pieces, and a 45 piece tonight to go with it, man, with those burger and fries. We want money from the line as well. And great statistic, fam, as the chat's popping in now. Goaty Goat, 14-2 when OG plays, fam. Salute the OG effect in full effect, right? You love to see it. Big slam there as OG Anunoby was his old self, finishing in traffic, got so many deflections, as did Precious Achiuwa. Isaiah Hartenstein I thought was really fantastic tonight. Hart with something like 15 rebounds, continues to be the best rebounding guard in the league. And I thought Deuce Miles McBride gave us awesome minutes, especially in that second quarter. And he was super impactful, when he was out there as well. As the New York Knicks took a halftime lead, 55-41. And it really didn't get too uncomfortable, man. It got down to maybe 7 early in the third, 7 or 8. The Blazers came out strong, but the New York Knicks answered the call. Too strong for this Blazers team. Missing 4 starters. DeAndre Ayton was a handful, though, tonight. But we battled, and we held them to just 93 points as well. So tip my cap, right, to the defense. And defense wins ball games, like we know. Shooting, the New York Knicks hit 40% from the field, 33%. Sorry, that was the Blazers. 43% from the field and just 20% from three. So a lot of struggles from deep. But the New York Knicks got to the line. Jalen Brunson, multiple and ones tonight. And 105 was enough to get it done, fam. As we look ahead, Golden State on the horizon. But before that, Sacramento, fam. As we head to Cali. And the New York Knicks hopefully can get on a big run here. So we win this one now. And 12 games above 500, fam. So with that said, do you guys feel like if we can reach 11-5, we can get to 50 piece on the season, right? We stack up the wins and we're getting closer to that 50 piece. Health, obviously permitting. We're going to get Randall back real soon. Mitchell Robinson, hopefully in these last, 10 games or so. And we can really make noise as we hold our spot in 4th seed. With Brunson, I mean, we can really beat anyone in the East, right? Milwaukee narrowly edged Philly tonight, right? But with OG back and the defense, we're holding teams under 90, 95, 80. Defense is really on point tonight, rotating, and we were up to the task with physicality as well. Yeah, it was a fake comeback. Salute Tay in the building. Michael Drake, most 30 points. Brunson is 11 games shy. Go Iron Man, JB. You love to see it. Now, there was a little bit of issues on the Portland arena. It was a really slippery court tonight, as the beat writers report. They didn't do a great job mopping up the floor. Brunson was slipping, and I was, my heart was in my mouth with that, man. Brunson went up for a slam, and he actually slipped. That awkward play where it looked like Brunson was going to jam it, and he slipped at the very last minute. And thankfully, that didn't end badly, because that could have gone really bad. So Portland need to up their game, man, on the court and the arena staff. With that said, we take the dub, we get out of there, and let's continue this road cooking with Road Warriors. 55 rebounds to 49. We continue to battle. Josh Hart, absolutely amazing, as he put in 15 boards and continues to bound and astound, man, in the words of Clyde. With that said, Monica McNutt on the call in place of Clyde tonight. What did you guys think? I thought Monica was awesome, as she always is. Great call with Mike Breen. And apart from, they did miss the OG thing, I did notice. I noticed that straight away. Once OG went for a deflection, he stretched his arm and he was reaching for it, man. I'm going to say, from what I see, it was a little bit of discomfort. He put ice on it, and he was able to see out the game. So let's hope he pulls up okay. He's probably going to be dealing with the ongoing, soreness from time to time, but hopefully it doesn't affect the shot. Right, we need to go on a big win streak to close out this season. It's really, really important, fam. But yeah, Deuce McBride, we'll give out his flowers for his consistency. But Precious Achua, man, we finished so many plays like that today on the break because guys were getting their hands in the passing lane and they were really locked in as well. Hart, DiVincenzo, I mean, the New York Knicks hustle is unmatched in terms of, basically swarming teams. Just when you think teams are going to make a run, the New York Knicks always answer the call, tonight. So Miles McBride was really efficient, 50% from the field. Isaiah Hartenstein, huge game, 4 of 6 from the field, 66%, and a plus 17. Brunson was, of course, plus 17. Miles McBride, plus 13 in their minutes. OG was 5 of 11, despite missing, going 1 of 4 from deep. OG finished plus 11, 12 points with 9 boards, 2 assists and 2 steals. And as I said earlier, fam, 4 guys with multiple steals. That signals how locked in the New York Knicks are on defense right now. Hart with 3 steals, OG with 2, Devo with 2, and Precious Achua with 2 steals, McBride and Brunson with 1 each as well. So 6 players with a steal, right? 6 out of the 8 rotation players basically with a steal, and that's huge. Out of the 9, and we're going to talk about Burks, Bogey, who had their struggles offensively. I thought Bogey was okay in terms of hitting the right shots, finding the right shots, but they just didn't drop tonight. But he was 3 of 3 from the free throw line. Alec Burks hit a couple shots, made a 3-pointer, but didn't get to the line as well. We're going to talk about them on the road towards a top seed in the East. We're going to need them to start hitting shots, or the minutes should decrease, right? But we're going to start with the first grade, man, the captain and the Brunson burner. One of his best games of the season, I think, from start to finish. You know, there wasn't really any lapses in tonight, man. He was in control, dealing with a lot of physicality. You know, Kamara was trying to make things really uncomfortable. He was a lot taller than Brunson, a lot of length. The Blazers really, you know, tried to rough us up. You know, they were trying to be physical. You know, Chauncey Billups, coach team, I understand coming in, the respect, you know, that they have for Jalen Brunson. You know, there was an interview pre-game of Chauncey, you know, talking about how good Jalen Brunson is, how he can be clutch, you know, he can kill you. And they, you know, they paid proper attention, you know, to Brunson, which makes this more impressive. But yeah, of course, heading in, the New York Knicks were heavy favourites. We did the business. We held the Blazers in the fourth quarter. We executed on offense, and we staved off the run, which was the most important thing, because it's tricky. You know, we're still on the road. We might be playing a really bad team, but a lot of these teams this end of the season, you know, they've got pride. You know, they're going through it, and sometimes they really want to have a great night and spoil the party. But the New York Knicks really battled. I thought this was a real team effort, you know, tonight. You know, despite Brunson just basically killing it all night, right? He was so consistent. At the half, he had 21 points already. And yeah, he continued his great work in the third, right? He had 35 points in 29 minutes by the third quarter, and continued the groove in the fourth, right, as we're up 20 most of the night. But the Blazers did make a little bit of a run, but a 12-point win is really, really comfortable, guys. Jalen Brunson, man, he's a leader. So many times this season when, you know, the other teams make it a little bit of a run, he takes it upon himself to get you that bucket, to get fouled, to take control back as well. For a guy his stature, his size, man, the heart, you can't measure it because he's so strong and physically, mentally. Yeah, he knows how to read the game as well. He knows when he needs to take control, like he did there, man. He can manipulate the defense, you know, and draw fouls with the best of them as well. So as we repeat, yeah, it was a little scare as the chat's asking, salute Joshua, and the chat, welcome in everyone. OG Anunoby, it was in the second quarter, late second quarter. He reached for a deflection. He got the steal, but the immediate reaction when he got the ball was that he clutched his elbow. And I think it was just a little bit of an extension, a stinger, I'm going to say. So he went to the bench at halftime, got a little bit of treatment, didn't miss any minutes, came back out right after the halftime break, and proceeded to play well as well. But the scary thing is he's still favoring the elbow. So it's a mixed bag. He was able to finish the game out, so it doesn't appear to be too serious. But the way he was favoring that elbow lets us know that, you know, he was in some kind of discomfort. And we'll bring you up to speed if we get any other reactions. But yeah, OG played well, closed the game out, but was favoring that arm, right? And didn't have the best shooting night, 1 of 4. Missed the free throw, but he's not the best free throw shooter, so I don't think that had much to do with with the the stinger as well. And look, when you have surgery, anyone that knows, when you do get surgery, there is that recovery period. It was purely from that play. He got the ball, that the arm was probably extended, yeah, and he reached for it, and he kind of yelled out as well. People in the arena also verified, yeah, that he did kind of let out a bit of a Shrek. But he seems to be fine. He seems to be all good. He is so important to us. So hopefully nothing to worry about. Played 35 minutes, 5 of 11. And I said 9 boards, 2 assists, 2 steals, 12 points plus 11, man. Does bring his lunge pail and gets down to business. Does OG Anunoby. His impact goes way beyond the box score, right? As we've come to know by now, OG Anunoby is reaching for deflections. He's disrupting the flow of the offense for the other team. His physicality is big. He can play 2, 3, 4. He can guard 5s even as well, on a smaller 5s, of course. But what did you guys see from OG? Had his moments, sometimes he goes quiet throughout the game, but he's the quintessential role player. His impact is felt off the ball as well as on the ball, but defensively, he makes us a completely different team, defensively, as now we are 14-2, the OG effect, right? It's no coincidence, and it's not taking any shine away from any of the other New York Knicks, because we win as a team, we lose as a team, but there's no doubt when OG Anunoby is active, the team has that extra juice, that extra boost, to thrive on both sides as well. So yeah, I'm loving having OG back, and hopefully he doesn't need to miss any time. The recovery is still, obviously his return is still new, still early. He might need to rest it. We'll wait and see. But for me tonight, man, he's going to get a B+ for his impact. 2 assists, 2 steals, finishing on the break, provides that, he's that real glue guy as well. We have multiple glue guys, which is awesome. And you need a lot of those guys, to help you win. Winning in the league, you need to win differently some games. You need to win ugly against teams that try to drag you down. They try to be physical, teams that are short-handed like tonight. People look at it on the box score and they say, man, the New York Knicks should blow these teams out by 30. That's not the way that it goes. Some nights, you can win pretty and you can win ugly, but a win is a win. And especially when you're on the road, too. So a lot of teams want to, please their fans by playing well at home. And the New York Knicks really, really got away with this one in impressive style. I thought, over the course of 4 quarters, we just methodically took care of them, right? Now, they have a lot of size. Obviously, the length of Matisse Thybulle played really well defensively. They were locked in. Camera, and then you've got Murray's brother, and you have DeAndre Ayton. So the bigs were the most impressive thing, as we're about to hit on Precious, we're about to hit on Isaiah and Josh Hart. But yeah, game ball to JB. Salute, congrats to him on the 45 piece. And OG Anunoby with the B+. Hopefully, he's good to continue to kill it, continue to impact the game. Now we'll move along. Next up, I want to hit on Josh Hart. 15 rebounds tonight, man. I mean, giving us a lot of second chance points. And think about what he'd be like to play against, from an opponent, perspective. He would be a pain in the backside, man. Josh Hart is that energizer bunny, and he keeps going, right? He has that banter with Tibbs, and the minutes. But he's a warrior, man. As we get closer to the playoffs, Hart is going to be one of the biggest impact players on this team, right? especially he's going to be back to the bench when Randall's back, and it's going to be a big relief, for Josh, because he's been playing huge minutes. 41 tonight. He was 3 of 8, missed 2 threes, hit a free throw, 5 offensive boards, 15 total, 3 steals, which were timely, gritty, 3 assists, 7 points +1. So doing his work in the paint, skying for the boards, and also getting into the passing lane, man, being physical, being that pest. And the chat's always talking about it too, guys, in terms of number 3, John Starks, right? Represent. Josh Hart is all about it. And he's building his legacy as a New York Knick. This is only his first full season, with us. And obviously, he was here for the second half of last season. And that impact was profound. But in terms of, extended tenure, Josh Hart's still got, 4 more years of his new contract extension to come. And he's going to continue to build that legacy, man, with number 3 in the orange and blue. But I love the way that he plays. He's a real throwback. Talking about a guard getting 15 rebounds, like, that is, a real throwback, right? So I'm going to give Josh an A. A for tonight, man. 3 steals and 15 rebounds is absolutely mammoth. But, this is a homecoming as well, kind of a revenge game as well. Obviously, there's no malice in it, but, he was with Portland. As we know, we traded Cam Reddish and a protected first round pick for Josh Hart. And, so far we've won the trade. The trade was a win-win, guys, with that. Right, so you could grade the trade A or A+, as well as his performance tonight, man. Michael's gone with A- for Josh. Buzzer beater with the B. Shout out, guys. Appreciate you. How you doing? And it's good to stack up wins. I'll take it any way that we can get it, as we're still playing shorthanded. No win is easy, as we know in the NBA, but I'm sitting here feeling a lot of pride, because sitting here with 39 wins, we're closing in on last season's total, with 16 games remain. If we go 11-5, that's a 50 piece for the first time since 2013, right? So we're getting ever so close to that milestone. What do you think? 11-5, right? If we pick up a couple more wins on this West Coast trip, that's going to become a lot more realistic. To get 50 wins would be huge, but I'm not going to be mad if we fall just short of 50. I predicted 48, at the start of this season, and I know some of these games are going to be a little tricky, especially as we look later in April. We have to go to Milwaukee. We have to play in Boston as well. We play the Heat. We play Chicago 3 times in the span of a week, as well. But we're going to need everyone healthy. But when everyone's here, we're so tough to beat. We just beat you down physically. We've got depth, with Precious here making a huge impact. Isaiah starting to ramp up more minutes. Mitch getting recovering and getting his rehab in, and he's going to be back really soon as well. Hart bludgeoning guys on the boards, and of course the grittiness of Devo, Deuce, Brunson. No one want to see the New York Knicks in the playoffs. Really, nobody. We're going to grind you down. We're going to make it tough to score on us. Right now we're playing like one of the best defensive teams in the league, and I can't wait till we get our big center back as well. Things are going to be even, more difficult to beat us. Right, I'm looking forward to that Boston one. Me personally, right, Milwaukee and Boston. You guys let me know in the chat, and replay squad salute. Which games are you most looking forward to on this road to the playoffs, fam. 16 games left. To think the season's almost coming to an end. After this West Coast trip, it's going to fly, fam. And I can't wait for another playoff run, man. A deep playoff run, man. We're here, and we're buzzing right now, smashing that like button. Next guy up, after Hart, we're going to hit on Isaiah Hartenstein, fam. Loved his game tonight. Absolutely loved his game. You guys let me know your thoughts on Isaiah Hartenstein's game. 23 minutes, so is impacting the game a lot in less minutes. Plus 17 tonight. He was 9 points, 9 boards, 2 assists from the big man. Hit his 1 free throw, and 66% from the field. Right, pre minutes restriction. He was one of the best Knicks of the season, I felt. And continues to be consistent, in his minutes. In terms of when Mitch went down, right, Mitch was 12 and 9. The Knicks were 12 and 9 when Mitch went down, right? They still had a winning record, but barely, because obviously the tough start to the year and all the tough matchups that the Knicks had. But for the Knicks to be 12 games above 500 for most of the season now, playing Isaiah Hartenstein as the starting big man, I mean, I can't really sing the guy's praises, enough. He's going to get paid. Obviously, we're going to talk about it a lot more coming into the off season, and obviously the playoffs is going to be so pivotal, guys. But Isaiah Hartenstein's one of my favorite, players on this team to see go out there and give it all that he's got, fam. Tonight was a load, handling DeAndre Ayton. But yeah, bounding, astounding, giving us 9 points, 9 rebounds, efficiency, just 23 minutes, plus 17, lets you know that he is impacting winning, man, from the get-go. So he'll get an A. And I just hope that he can be, free of any discomfort and playing pain-free, heading into the playoffs as well. Obviously, these minutes restrictions are going to help him, in the long haul, right? So we're almost through the starters, fam, right? We've hit on everyone except DiVincenzo. So let me bring up DiVincenzo. Tonight he was 4 of 12, not very efficient, 2 of 8 from deep. Devo got us 5 defensive rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 12 points, plus 2, right? He's obviously, adjusting as well. Brunson returning, he's not having to fire as many threes, so he's going to have to continue to make the most of those opportunities that he gets. 12 attempts from the field, 8 3-point balls, 25%. As a team, we didn't shoot great tonight, man. 20%. No one really had it going from deep, including Brunson. But DiVincenzo doesn't let that affect his play. He still gives you that effort defensively. He still gets after it. He'll get in passing lanes, and 2 steals. Like, I think the man's averaging probably close to 2 steals per game on the season, which is also huge for a guard, and a guy his size. But yeah, simply he just didn't have it going with the shot, right? But DiVincenzo is that dog, and he's come up big, so many times for us this season. My grade, I'm going to give DiVincenzo a C+, right? Holds it down on the defensive side, but didn't have it going tonight offensively, fam. But we're going to need him to catch fire, especially heading into Sacktown, heading into Golden State, and of course Denver as well. But Brunson had his back tonight with 45. Huge night for Brunny. Buzzer beater's gone with B- for Dante. Michael Drake with the B- as well. Very close. You guys have gone a little more generous than me tonight. Shout out. And yeah, shout out Monica McNutt, as we gave her some flowers earlier, but give her some flowers again. Always awesome on the post game. I mean, when is she not awesome? But yeah, I would love her to be a regular in terms of fill in for Clyde, take over maybe, you know, when Clyde maybe ends up when Clyde ends up, you know, retiring. Monica McNutt would be awesome as well. I think Bill, Wally, and Alan Hahn obviously have it going in the post game as well. But yeah, Monica McNutt would be great with Breen. You know, Breen challenged Monica to give us some rhymes, and she delivered as well. So yeah, all the Knicks did their role tonight, fam, including us right now in the chat, holding things down for Knicks Nation as well. Appreciate your support. Smash that like button. If you enjoy the content, the streets are always buzzing. And we gotta talk about this, you know, and this is a little bit more on a somber note, but I do got to pay my respects and you know, and send my condolences to the Barrett family and R.J. Barrett. We just heard the news earlier today, just a few hours ago. Shows you how, you know, precious life is. I wasn't sure of the circumstance, but we heard Nathan Barrett, RJ's younger brother, passed away sadly due to illness. It took me by shock as well. I had no idea if it was something that was expected or unexpected, but nevertheless, my heart goes out to the Barrett family and RJ. And yeah, you know, there isn't much more to say about it other than, you know, we're thinking of him, RJ, and we're thinking of you, and I know you're going through this difficult time as well, as he grieves, you know, the loss of his younger brother as well. Any of us, all of us that have lost somebody knows what that pain, you know, is like as well. But yeah, RJ Barrett is always, you know, has always got a fan in us as well, and you know, and his family has our support right now. And with that said, you know, we'll continue on and talk about this win tonight as the New York Knicks cruise to the victory by 12, right? I got the mantra there, Road Warriors, because we're heading in, not only are we going to face the Warriors, but this is the time of the season, guys, where we've got to show grit. You know, a lot of people are tired, a lot of people are gassed, and on certain nights you might not get the best of some of these Knicks, right? We've got to support them. We've got to be in their corner, because you know, it's been almost 82 games, and it's a grind, man. It's a marathon. And you know, DiVincenzo didn't have it going tonight, but his play and his effort, you know, he gives it all that he has, right? And he's going to come up big in a lot of moments down the stretch, right? So that was the starting five. We wait to see if there's anything on the OG front, as I'll refresh to see, you know, what Tibbs is saying. And we're about to hit on Deuce McBride, give out his flowers. As Fred Katz is tweeting out that Tibbs said the Knicks expected OG, who was holding his surgically repaired elbow and grimacing, to have moments like he did tonight. Tibbs said stuff like that is going to happen. He added, we were expecting there to be bumps and bruises like that. So that's it. We hear from Tibbs right now, but OG stayed strong, stayed in the game, and gritted it out, man. He even dunked twice and finished it. So that was a really positive sign that OG could finish the game out. And you know, he is really, really durable in terms of staying with it and being strong throughout the game. You know, he was grimacing, and it wasn't easy, right? Hopefully he doesn't miss any time. There you see it. What a reverse. Now let's talk about Deuce McBride, because I'm a huge Deuce fan, as the chat is as well. But I've always waxed lyrical about how difficult it is to just come off the bench, you know, and be consistent, impact the game in many ways. Deuce McBride brings it on both sides, man. I got in the caption, he got loose. tonight. I mean, the shot's money, but, you know, he's so tough. He's difficult to score against. He gets into that passing lane. He had a nice break, fast break and finish as well. Deuce McBride's that pest, man. You just can't shake. You know, tonight he went 3 of 6, 50% from the field. Got 2 offensive rebounds, 3 total. Was 6 points and a plus 13 in just 21 minutes. So that's key, right? To get Brunson some rest, you know, and Brunson only went 37 tonight. So big night in 37 minutes for Brunny, but Miles McBride was awesome in his 21 minutes. Efficient, picking up deflections, a steal, and rebounding as well. His highlight was that big putback as well. He skied like he's learning off Josh Hart. and he finished that one strong. So, you know, that was a tricky part of tonight's game. You know, so I'm glad that Deuce McBride got us that bucket, because that sort of helped, I think, stave off a bit of a run. Timely bucket. And Deuce is going to get an A for me tonight, man. He excelled in his role. You know, defensively, offensively, was efficient. 21 minutes. I'm happy for the man. He's still getting really good minutes, even when Brunson's playing really well. Deuce's minutes might go down a little heading towards the playoffs, but I think Tibbs just trusts the man so much, you know. How can you not? I think he's impacting winning, again, in many ways in the box score, but yeah, plus 13 is big time, man. He'll get the A in 21 minutes. Guys, what are you thinking about Deuce? Buzzer Beater has gone with the B plus for Deuce Miles McBride. Shout out, Deuce. Did you guys hear the fans in the crowd too? Shout out to the best fan base in the biz. Knicks Nation was in the building in Portland tonight, man. Shouting out MVP, shouting out Deuce. You love to see it, man. And I know, shout out to MSG as well. They do turn the mic up a bit when the Knicks fans are giving it to the home team as well. So we pile on the pressure on these teams. Man, welcome in Daniel. Get on my level. Salute, guys. Late night edition of Knicks Buzz. We're buzzing. And a great win. We need to stack up more wins. You know, and we have a great chance to get some really impressive wins against the Kings and then against the Dubs. And then we round out the West Coast trip in Denver, which we're probably going to be on fumes at that point. But if we beat SAC or we beat Golden State, the West Coast trip will be a success, you know, in my opinion. I said before, I think splitting these 4 games would be solid. If we could go 3-1, that would be a huge success. Obviously, Philly losing tonight was great. And we created a little bit more separation too. Now, next man up, we're going to hit on Mr. Chewy. Mr. Achua. Let's get it. Precious has been awesome this season, but, you know, tonight he come off the bench again for the second time since OG's returned. Continued his great work. Right, let's look at his numbers now. 24 minutes. Precious was 2 of 3, 66%. Got 7 boards, 3 offensive, 2 assists, 2 steals, 4 points, -5. The Blazers made little runs throughout the game, but what stands out to me, man, 3 offensive rebounds, 7 boards, efficient around the bucket as well. So really soft touch. He's the complete opposite of no hands, no L. You know, he kind of, the length, you know, and his ability to rebound reminds me of Mitch a little bit as well, you know, with his reach around the cup. But yeah, anytime he gets a ball around the cup, man, he's finishing really well. 66% tonight around the rim. Awesome rebounding as well, man. 7 rebounds in 24 minutes is also good as well. What did you guys see from Achua? tonight. As I said, I feel like he obviously deserves minutes. Someone's going to have to lose some minutes though with OG back. And it's obviously precious with Hart playing the 3 now. Mostly because Randall is out. But once Randall gets back, we know Hart's going to go back to the bench and also lose some minutes, as well. But yeah, Precious Achua has held us down. He's a restricted free agent at the end of this season, right? I think the New York Knicks will do everything they can to keep Precious. He's a restricted free agent. They can extend the qualifying offer and make sure that, they have the best chance of matching, any deal. So I think we'll extend a qualifying offer to Achua, see it out there, see if any team gives him an offer sheet. His play's been really great, but I can't really see a team offering him any more than 12. That would really surprise me. But there are some bad teams out there looking for talent. Maybe someone does overpay, but the New York Knicks will have a chance to match, I think. But B+ for me tonight, man, really solid in his minutes. Gear up for a big game in Cali. Couple games. Firstly, the Kings, and then the Dubs, right? I said it in the last show, I really want to beat Golden State in that matchup. Get revenge, right? Get them back for that tough loss that we had at MSG. And the New York Knicks will be up for it, fam. This will be good confidence. 2 in a row now. Let's keep it rolling, fam. West Coast rolling as we race up the East. Let's talk a little bit about Bogey. In my notes, I thought he made a couple of great reads, as they said on the call. He had a nice drive and dish, and found the 3-point. He found the 3-point shooter. So that was a great play. But looking at his numbers, man, he wasn't efficient, tonight. I thought defensively he wasn't too bad, but offensively he didn't have it going. 1 of 6, 13 minutes, but got to the line, hit 3 free throws. Was still a +5, 5 points, the 1 assist as well. So yeah, 13 minutes. So I think those minutes are going to go down. Alec Burks' minutes have gone down, and we're about to talk about Burks. He had 4 minutes tonight. But yeah, Bogey, down to 13 minutes. I said last post-game, guys, that I don't think we're relying on Bogey too much. I mean, 1 of 6 tonight, and we still handled our business. The fact that Deuce is efficient, and the fact that Precious is now playing with the bench, that's giving us enough punch, I think, which is good. Those guys are going to have to continue to produce, but I do think there will be that Bogey game once in a bit where he will, knock down those threes that will really help us. So I think Bogey deserves to stay in the rotation for now because we need some bodies. I don't want to, overstretch, your Brunsons, your Devos, your Harts. We need still 10, 15 minutes from Bogey. But if we can hide him with Hart lineups or with OG lineups, Miles McBride, I don't think his defense is going to, be too hurtful. We've just got to match his minutes, right, with some good defenders out there. He just has to stand in the corner, pull out the defender and knock down those shots. That's what he's here to do. Michael's gone with C- for Bogey. Shout out. Buzzer beater C+ for Bogey as well. Shout out. My grade for Bogey, pretty similar. I'm gonna give Bogey a C for tonight. But I do think we should have some level of patience with him because, I mean, we know his skill set, right? He can help on the offensive side, really help stretch the floor out. And, we need some gunners to play with Deuce because Deuce can feel the pressure a bit when he has to score and do everything. And we need some guys out there to help him, to stretch the defense out, create some driving lanes, um, and obviously he can be helpful in the post as well, right? Guarding obviously isn't his strong suit, but he has to be consistent with the shot. That's what he's here to do. Michael Drake says, yeah, Bodega 44 must get better on D, must improve pick and roll, 3-point shooting. On point, fam, let's get it. Get on my level. Bogey gets a C+. Yep, solid. Yeah, I mean, we got the win. So I think every Nick played their role to some degree tonight. And as I said earlier, guys, some wins are going to be a little bit more ugly than others. You just got to get out unscathed, But bring the heat now, Alec Burks. Alec Burks, 2 of 5, 4 minutes tonight. More efficient than what he's been recently. I'll start there. 2 of 5, 1 of 2 from 3, -1, 1 rebound, an offensive rebound, 1 turnover as well, no assists as well. So his assist to turnover ratio is in the minus, fam. As I said earlier, man, there's not too much to dwell on with Alec. Outside of his minutes are really dropping, 4 minutes tonight. Tibbs is kind of having less patience. Obviously, we've got more talent now with OG back, more choices, really. And I don't think we should really try to force it. If Burks comes on for his 5 minutes, he doesn't have it going, that's cool. Then go to the bench and don't play again. Obviously, there's going to be nights where he might hit his first few shots and then he might get an extended run. But right now, as I said earlier, to me, the most value these guys have, specifically Burks and Bogey, is they're a live body. Like, literally, we just need some extra bodies to fill out the bench rotation now, so we don't have to play Hart too much. We don't have to play Devo or Brunny, as well. So we'll keep that in mind when we give Tibbs the grade in a second. But on that note, let's take a quick look at the minutes distribution. See, Hart had to play 41, OG 35, which is, I think, is pretty standard. Isaiah on the minutes restriction. Devo 36, I think that's pretty standard. Brunny with 37, I like that. Precious 24, I like that. Deuce 21, I like that. Bogey 13 is pretty standard. And Alec Burks 4 minutes 18 seconds, I like that as well. I mean, maybe he could have got a couple more minutes. He was 2 of 5 from the field, but defensively, I think he's been the most poor. Shooters are going to hit shots, at some point. He's got to find a rhythm. But defensively, Burks and Bogey have been below average, below their average, which is saying something, as we know. But as I said, guys, my expectations aren't very high, of these guys. If they get hot and they contribute, help us win a couple ball games, that's gravy. But for me, the main bench mob for me is Precious, Achua, Miles McBride, and obviously we've got Josh Hart, who will go back to the bench. And then 4th and 5th will be Bogey and Burks. Obviously, when Mitchell Robinson is back, that's going to be another big as well. So yeah, minutes are going to be really hard to come by for these guys if they're not hitting their shots. Get on my level, says Burks looks shaky. He's playing like an old man. Look how he was driving to the cup. Whack. Father Time is undefeated, man. I said it recently. I think the concern is that, Burks, who's now 32, has lost a couple steps from when he was last year. I think that's really realistic to think now. He was really solid his first go around, but this time, he's older. and he's just not the same player as well. So we have Shake Milton. We've got some other options. Let's rock with it. So with Burks's grade, right, he'll get C- for me tonight. He avoids the D, right? Didn't play much, hit a couple shots, but wasn't really that impactful. Continues to struggle defensively, C-, right? And in terms of Tibbs, now looking at Tibbs coaching this game first on the road trip, I like the minutes distribution. I think it was pretty solid. I don't think Tibbs had to use a challenge call tonight. He did keep OG Anunoby out there, who was dealing with the elbow discomfort, but made some critical timeout plays, calls early in the third, early in the fourth. The Blazers made a run. They cut it to like 13, an 18-point lead, cut to 13. I think Tibbs was calling the timeout to steady the team. So that was pretty solid. Outside of that, I don't really think Tibbs put too much foot wrong, tonight. So he's gonna get B+ for me tonight. Just Thomas Thibodeau. Any guys with Tibbs? Solid B for Michael. Salute. Burke Glue Factory. Yeah. Shake Milton. Hopefully he gets some burn, before the playoffs. It will be interesting to see if some of these games down the stretch, guys. Once again, shout out chat, shout out replay squad. Salute. Smash that like button. We're getting closer to the playoffs, right? The OG effect, 14-2, got us buzzing, and 16 games remain. If we go 11-5 and get that 50 piece, I think we'll lock up a third, fourth seed and have home court in the playoffs. But my point with Shake Milton is, if someone misses a playoff game or knock on wood, extended time, you want to make sure the backup, the insurance, has a little bit of rhythm, to come in and work with. So yeah, I do hope we can get Shake Milton, some groove, maybe in a blowout. Let's see. 16 games remain. He, outside of a late garbage time, he hasn't really had a chance to get his feet wet. So I'm pretty high on Shake Milton, and obviously more than Alec Burks. So I would like Tibbs to give that a look. Obviously we're trying to win games now, so yeah, he's probably not going to get a extended look, unless it's a blowout. But we'll see. There's plenty of funky games on the schedule coming up. Chicago 3 times in a week. We still have to play Detroit. We play Brooklyn, I think twice, or once or twice more. We have to play the Raptors in the 6, as well. So yeah, man, there's some games coming up, guys. But yeah, so far Milton is situational, and I don't really have an issue with that. But what I'm trying to say is, he's insurance. Let's say if Brunson misses a game, Miles McBride is the starter. He moves up into that starting spot. But then you need someone to back up Miles McBride, right? And if you bring in a Shake Milton who's ice cold, doesn't have any rhythm as well. And I don't really want to see Alec Burks, running the point off the bench. That's going to be tricky. Maybe they go with DiVincenzo in a playoff game in that scenario, which I can understand, but he's not a real, point guard. He's not a creator. That's just going to tire Devo out a little bit, as well. So yeah, as we monitor that, that'll be a storyline, fam, to watch, right? But those are the grades, right? As we continue rocking out, and a big night for Jalen Brunson, 45 points, 25 times this season he's had a 30-point game, right? Closing in on Richie Guerin, right? He'd have to get 11 more with 16 remaining. That'll be tough, but to etch himself as the second Nick, right, in season 30-point games is quite remarkable already. And he just goes from strength to strength, right? To think we have him in his prime, for the next 6-7 years to come is amazing. And one of the reasons I'm so excited, right, this season and moving ahead, Brunson I don't even think is in his prime yet. Prime is normally 28, 29, but maybe even 30 for some people, right? His processing of the game is great. And shout out for that milestone. Guys, how you feeling? Stanley's in the building. Salute. Stanley says Milton wouldn't be worse than Burks. Yep, definitely. He's doing his thing. In his career, he's been around, moved around, but Milton had a 9-game stretch with Philly where he averaged 20 points per game for a 9-game stretch. So that's comforting, to know that he can step in. And that was when James Harden and Maxey were out with Philly as well. So he's capable, really more capable than Burks running the point. Get on my level. Appreciate you. Thanks for the shout out. Let's go New York Knicks. Always extra satisfying to get a road win for me as well. Right, we've done a lot of winning at home. And obviously, the Blazers were missing all their players tonight, but 4 of their starters, but they still have a very a decent squad tonight with Scoot Henderson, DeAndre Ayton, and a physical defense right tonight. But Jalen Brunson led us to the victory. A+, gold star, stack of cash for the new contract, much deserved, and the game ball for JB tonight, man, racking up milestones for us. Man, to think, was it 3 games ago where Brunson went down, suffered from that knee stinger, hearts were in mouths on that night, but we've come a long way since then, man. Brunson is here and he's balling out, man. Once again, shout out to Brunson for the A+. Now, I just remembered we got a little note on the Knicks making a roster move. Daquan Jeffries, has come off, or actually was extended to another 10-day as well. So the New York Knicks are just doing that, I think, to give him a little bit extra cash. Obviously the season's coming towards the end, so I think they're going to try to drag this out, give him a second 10-day. And they filled the other spot with another guy, Jacady, I think you pronounce it. Another guy with the Westchester Knicks. He's going to get some burn with them. I think that's just more of a make good offer, looking after these guys as well. So nothing that's going to factor into the big club, but it's just us doing the paperwork, making sure that we're filling all these the required spots of the roster. We've still got Jacob Toppin on the 2-way, Charlie Brown and Dwayne Washington, Daquan Jeffries and Jacady on the 2 10-days. Jeffries is his second 10-day, I believe. Jacady on the first one. Jacady will get a second 10-day as well, if I'm reading correct. Leon Rose. I think they're doing some good deeds, but it's also, I think, saving the New York Knicks a little bit of cash, as well. So that's what all that is about. I think the last real veteran guy who might factor into a rotation is Shake Milton, right? But the New York Knicks can still add someone if they want. You have until the final week before the playoffs for any team to add a player to their squad, as long as they were waived or not on a club at that March deadline. too. So now we look ahead. We look around the league tonight, but the Knicks have Sacktown on Saturday, Monday in Golden State, and then rounding out we have actually, which is good, 2 days rest after Golden State before we head to the Rockies. So that's great. It's always good to get that extra day's rest, man. Last game of the West Coast trip, that is going to be much appreciated, man, for the players and for everybody, I think, right, for the health. So let's beat Sacramento, guys. It's going to be a tough game, right? Obviously, Sabonis is having a great season for them. He's really playing well. That's going to be tough. Now let's take a look around the league and the standings, right? As we saw Boston take care of business against Phoenix, right? They're going to grab the best league in the best record in the league, #1 seed in the East. But this result was awesome for us, 36-30. Philadelphia lose to Milwaukee, right? So Milwaukee is still within striking distance for us, but a good thing is that obviously Philadelphia, who are starting to fall down a little bit more, are behind us, and we create separation, right? Houston picked up the win. Chicago lost, so that's still good. Chicago behind the New York Knicks. Knicks take care of business. Good for our draft pick as well. Dallas Mavericks go down at home, away to the Thunder, as we bring up the standings. Now, a couple of these results were great. Philly losing. And March Madness coming up, right? Hyped up, right? College hoops. Let me know, man, if you're a college hoops junkie. We'll be talking about the draft coming up soon as well. But here we go, fam. The New York Knicks extend to 39-27 on the season, man. 12 games above 500 on a 2-game win streak. You love to see it. And our last 10, we're 5-5, right? So we're really holding our heads up while still short-handed. But the pleasing thing is, we're creating some separation. We see the 6th-place Pacers in the guaranteed playoff picture. They are 15.5 back of the first seed, 2.5 games back now of us. So we are 13 games back of the #1 seed. We're only 3 games back of Cleveland, right? And we are only 3.5 games back of the Milwaukee Bucks still. So with 16 to play, it's still a chance, right? I'm cool with the 3rd or the 4th seed, really. It's all about matchups at that point. Now, what's more important than where we finish is health, and how we finish, guys. So that's big. But Orlando, they're the biggest threat to us, to someone catching us. They're only 1 game back. Obviously, 1 loss extra and one less win than us. So 1 game back of the New York Knicks. That'll be interesting to watch, to see who the Magic continue to play, right, in their run home. But yeah, a 2.5 game cushion between us and the Pacers, right? Maybe we string together a couple extra wins and we really start to lock up the guaranteed playoff spot. But I think 16 to play is still, it's still a fair way. So I'm going to bring up the schedule now. Here we go, fam. So Orlando beat Brooklyn. Their next game is against the Raptors, right? So that's away. They'll probably win that. And then they have to play the Raptors straight after at home. Okay, so that'll be interesting. Hopefully they at least lose one of them. Then the Magic will play the Hornets. Then they'll host the Pelicans. Then they'll host Sacramento and host Golden State. right? So that's interesting. That's good. Some tough games for them. Then they'll play the Clippers. Another tough game. Memphis, Portland. Okay, so they'll finish with a couple of easier games, fam. Well, actually, no, that's only April 2nd. So still some more games coming. But yeah, I only see Orlando as the biggest threat, fam. I don't really see any other club closing the gap, right? Philly are going to be without Embiid all the way until the playoffs, pretty much, or maybe until the final the final week of the regular season, and that's a lot to deal with, man. I mean, I think Philly are just going to continue to slide. The Heat, they're pretty far back right now. Not going to lie. Just bringing up the rest of Orlando's games, right? Because it is important that they continue to lose, right? One game is just one game. We do have a couple tough ones coming up, right? So here we go. Away to the Raptors, host the Raptors, host the Hornets, they host the Pels, the Kings, and the Dubs, the Clippers as well, Memphis, the Blazers, then they head to the Pels, then they head to the Hornets, they host the Bulls, they head to Texas for the Rockets, then they go to the Bucks, then they go to Philly, and then they finish while hosting the Bucks. So yeah, a bit of a mixed bag, but kind of some winnable games, but some really tough games for the Magic there. So that's going to be interesting. I'm feeling confident that the New York Knicks will hold the 4th spot in the worst case scenario. As I bring up the East once again, guys. So Philly are 3 games back of the Knicks now, 3 full games. The Heat are 3.5 games back of the New York Knicks. So that's a fair cushion. So we are creating separation from the play-in, right? 3 games is solid. We've just got to continue to win out and take care of these teams that we need to. But yeah, in terms of playoff matchups, as we spoke about recently, guys, I would prefer to play the Sixers in a matchup. I don't want to face the Heat. The Magic and the Pacers or the Cavs, I think, would be quite favourable as well at full strength. I think the Magic will still be physical, but if we have Randall, OG, I think we can get through to that second round quite comfortably. Stanley's asking, don't the Knicks need to add a player to the roster by March 16? Yeah, I think they've done that, fam, with Jacady as well. So he's on a 10-day. So yeah, they're technically fulfilling the requirements there. They've given Daquan Jeffries a second 10-day, and they've given that Jacady a first 10-day as well. So yeah, I think they're straight for now. G Money in the building, salute, fam. How you been? Hope you're doing well. What do you think we'll finish with in terms of the record? If we do go 11-5, that's 50 wins, my friend. 50 wins would be the first time since 2013 and that season, right? Even if we just fall short, for me, the season's been a success so far because we've unearthed so many great stories. Precious Achua, OG trade. Josh Hart continues to play well. And the New York Knicks record last season, despite not many injuries, were 47 wins, right? We have a really great chance of 48, 49, or 50, maybe even more. I mean, I'd love to see it, but 5 more losses is going to be tough. 11-5 to get to 50, I think. But the Miles McBride show as well, not leaving him out, he's stepped into that backup point roll so smoothly this season. Shout out to all the work he's put in. The 3-point shooting has been money this season. The defense has gone to another level. As they said on the call, the game is starting to slow down for Miles Deuce McBride. You predict 48 wins. That's great. I predicted 48 to start the season, so we're on the same page, man. Great minds think alike. But I think part of me is thinking now that we're so close to 50, we can get it done. I think it's going to be dependent on if Randall gets back with 10 games remaining or 5 games remaining, maybe even earlier, and also Mitch. If Mitch can get back. Well, Mitch will be back really soon. I honestly think Mitch might be back right after the West Coast, as I bring up this month. Fam, what do we got? So we got one more week. We leave Denver next Thursday. And then Brooklyn at home, Detroit at home. So yeah, I think Mitchell Robinson will probably make his season return against Brooklyn on Saturday, March 23. Fam, what do you guys think? See, Mitch is traveling with the team on the West Coast, but I think that's just to acclimate him and practice and be with the squad. But I think Mitch has got to start to take some contact first. So maybe Brooklyn, maybe Detroit. I think Mitch will return this month, which would leave 9 games in April still to build up. Fam. 8 games in April, fam. 8 games in April for Mitch, if he does return right at the end of March, fam. So that would be great. OG seamless fit. Absolutely. Hopefully tonight, isn't a regular occurrence, because he was dealing with a little bit of discomfort. But I think it was more of an extension. It was a stinger. When you do go for that deflection, fam, and that elbow, you kind of feel that nerve for a second after having surgery. I think he's going to be great moving forward. And look, he's been balling. I'm going to bring up OG's stats right before tonight as we wrap up the late night show, fam, and get some rest. And this West Coast trip continues buzzing with Jalen Brunson, 45 points, closing in on Richie Guerin. But the real OG stand up, right? Huge for us since coming in. 15 games. He's averaging 15 points, 52% from the field, efficient, 39% from 3, 1.7 steals in 35 minutes, right? 13-2 before tonight. Now, 14-2, right? The OG stand up. OG effect. Him with Brunson, DiVincenzo, the rest of the crew defending. We're a juggernaut, fam, as we close in on home court in the playoffs, fam. 3rd, 4th, I would sign up for. I think it's irrelevant. I think the matchup is the most important. Well, 3rd would get us a second round matchup with no with no Boston. So that is something to go for. I get that. But yeah, man, I'm just hyped for the playoffs. I think 3rd seed would be awesome, but that's still going to be tough. Right, so great win tonight. Let's get it on the next one. We've got to beat Sacramento. It's going to be a great game. I want to see how ready these Knicks are for these tough matchups on the road. And let's get it then, man. Peace, health, happiness, blessings. Salute. Let's get on the next one, man. Enjoy the weekend. And I will see you again on Saturday night as we take on Sacramento. Peace.